So I found this new clip of Shoto sharing his scariest experiences. And so, well, let's all hear his story.
Oh, the scary story. Okay, so let me tell you guys. All right, hey, okay, everybody, getting close, getting close. I'm about to tell you something really spooky. Okay, I've told this story before, but I'm going to set some groundwork right now. Okay, one, I've learned that my family is quite uh in tune with some spiritual shit, and I never really realized that until recently because I had a deep conversation with my friends about my past and like how my family, because we talked about family a lot, right? And I realized that my mom's side of the family, it's kind of funny because both my mom and dad's side of the family have something cool going on because my mom's side, they're very like superstitious, more so than I thought. And you know, they believed in certain things. Like, remember what I told you when my grandpa died that the phone in the house kept like ringing over and over again, and my grandma thought it was just him trying to reach out. Like, it rang 3 times on the third day, and we in the family coincidentally believe that people don't realize that they're dead until the third day after they have moved on. Oh,
Interesting bit of info. You know what? Mine too. I'm not gonna say my family's superstitious. I'm gonna say we're more than superstitious. Like my mom's side has experiences. My dad's side, there's like a literal history of our relatives in my dad's side being faith healers. Even my dad is a faith healer or was, but there was a whole lore behind that, but we're not gonna talk about it. But yeah, we do have experiences. And as for the story about like the phone ringing, I do have a similar experience as well. You know what? There was a time when me and my siblings and our cousins we were hanging out in our front yard, and we were sitting like beside this big mahogany tree, and all of a sudden my phone was ringing, and I checked it, and it shows that my cousin was calling me, but my cousin was literally beside me. She was right beside me, and she had her phone with her, and we checked, and it's not like she accidentally dialed me or anything. She's not. But then her number kept calling my phone, and we're all like, what? Yeah, it was really spooky, you guys. It was, but I'm like I'm laughing about it because even though it was spooky, there was a hint of acceptance in it because we know that they exist. We and I'm not talking about ghosts, by the way. I'm talking about like those other things that are not ghosts. You get it. Those things that live in trees and stuff because like I said we were sitting by or next to this huge mahogany tree, and so we believe that something is living in the tree, and so it's like maybe at that time whatever whatever resident is in the tree, it was trolling us. It was calling my phone, showing my cousin's number. And so we actually just carried on. But yeah, there was acceptance. Like we know they're there, but it's not really hurting us. So yeah, that was my experience of it. Like something is calling me, but it's not a ghost. It's something else.
like after the third day that they passed away from that forth. So, uh, yeah, to sorry, someone's outside. That distracted me for a second. That has scared me. Holy fuck. Um, so that's one thing. Second thing, right, that I realized is that I don't know about you guys because who here is Southeast Asian or like just
Me,
Asian in general? I know a lot of people in Southeast Asia are pretty
me.
superstitious about a lot of things, right? But one thing in my mom's side of the family that they believe is that the more you talk about negativity and the more you talk
You're
about
gonna
ghost
attract
stories
them
or like
more.
indulge in creepy shit, it will invite more spooky stuff into
Yeah.
your house. or more of that into your life, right? So the more you talk about negativity, the more you invite that into your life, the more
Okay,
like
here's a little tidbit, guys. Remember the time when the movie Conjuring was popular? There were actually cases in my place where there were several cases of possessions. So it's not like it's not a Sadako. It's not a Sadako case where the Conjuring ghost just scroll down with the TV. It's not. It's more like, since like there's people were more indulged in the horror, so the horrors, the local horrors were like invited in, and people were affected. So yeah, solidified our belief that if you watch those things, if you watch horror, if you talk about those kinds of stories, it will invite them more. So that's what happened.
likely you'll bring something unfortunate into your own life, right? That's the whole thing. That's why my mom hates talking about anything to do with that, right? So that's my mom's side. My dad's side, it's weird because he has told me so many spooky stories from when he was a kid. Like he literally thinks he sees ghosts, right? And he's
Or
told me
maybe
when
he
he was a
does.
kid in Vietnam, right? He used to see them all the time, and I never really paid attention to that because I thought he was just trying to scare me, right? And dad was like, being
Maybe
all what
90% of the
mysterious or
time he was
whatever,
trying to
right?
scare
Because
you,
I don't
but
know too
like
much from my dad's side of the family, but
10% it was
I talked
real.
to him again recently, and he told me another scary story about him seeing my grandpa, right, or thinking he saw my grandpa when I was younger, right? What, the week after he died or something like that. I don't know. That's weird too. So let's fast forward to um 2021 or 2020, right? Yeah, I think it was 2020. So that's the first time I ever did a Ouija board with my roommate.
Oh
This was back in
no.
college. Well,
Oh
my roommate
no.
now, but my friend from college, right?
You do
Same
not
guy,
touch
and we
a
did a
Ouija
Ouija board
board.
together. It's kind of like this. Remember, you guys, this story. Some people would remember me doing this, but I fucked around with it because one of his friends, I think, I don't know who she was, but she left the Ouija board at his apartment or whatever, right? And I
I'm I'm gonna bet that she left the Ouija board because she had a bad experience with it, and she didn't want to have anything else to do with it anymore. So that's why she left it there. She intentionally passed on the bad luck to someone else. In which case, or in this case, it was your friend.
just decided to play around with it one day. Apparently, he never saw her again. That was like the last time he
Because
saw
she had
he
bad
ever hung out with
experience.
her or talked to her was when she left the Ouija board. And I guess he never reached out again or they never talked again after that, right? And she didn't really want it. So like, oh, whatever. And I guess it's still in the apartment to this day because like I think when they moved out of there years ago, it just got left at the apartment in Philadelphia, right? So I was playing around with it with him one day because it was in between classes. We were bored, and I remember one of the questions. We did the whole proper process. We were like,
Is there
hello,
even a
hi, and
proper
everything. And we
process to
said
that
bye when
thing?
we closed it off. But I really didn't believe in Ouija boards that much at the time. So one of the questions that I asked when we were moving the thing around was like, what's the name of my grandma's dead cat, right? And I spelled it out because I was trying to fuck with him a little bit, right? And move it around myself. Yeah. But I think you're not supposed to do that. I didn't know because I don't really believe in Ouija boards and stuff like that. So when I moved it around, right, and I told him like, yeah, that's the name of the cat, he didn't believe me, and then he got really freaked out. Uh, Fast forward a year after that, right? Because I didn't really think too much of just the trolling that we did. Apparently, the people that lived below, because the
Oh
apartment is like a
no.
first floor and second floor, and we did the Ouija board on the second floor in his room, right? There's a room below them uh, that got occupied by two new people, and they woke up one night, right, around like 2 a.m. or something like that, and they heard loud banging at the door, right, and they thought someone was trying to break into their room, and they started crying apparently and started praying. It got really bad, and then
it's not just really bad. It's like it's bad, bad, because you see, ghosts don't really do anything. They don't. If they scare you, they just they just appear. They just make themselves visible, and they scare you with their looks. That's what ghosts do. But when when there's like a really huge disturbance, like for example, like what you said, like loud banging, like that's not a ghost. That's something even worse. Ghosts don't do that. You know what does that? That was something demonic. You and your friend summoned and left something demonic in that place. Oh my god. You were lucky it didn't follow you. You were lucky it stayed there. And so I feel sorry for those two people who occupied that room. But you're lucky, Shoto. Don't do it again. Oh my god.
I think like the other housemates heard them screaming for help because there's two of them, right? Two of them were inside this room sharing together, and they thought someone was trying to break in, right? The entire time. And then when the whole house came together and just like opened the door and just checked on them, they were like huddled in the corner crying, right? And praying and shit like that because they thought somebody was trying to like kill them or whatever. And then apparently they never knew why or what happened. They thought it was like just a weird haunting thing because no one else in the house heard the banging on the door, right? Nobody else knew or heard about what was happening. Apparently, only those two knew and heard all that noise and some shit. And then I realized something. It's like, okay, maybe it's me and my
It's not
friend's fault because
maybe.
we did the Ouija
It's
board,
not
right? It's
maybe.
like,
It
oh,
was
that's the
you
ghost board
and
or
your
whatever. I don't know.
friend.
People believe that stuff, right? I still have skepticism about it because I don't really like to believe that all that much. But then I realized, like, oh, like when people say "as above, so below," right? Like the same thing that applies up above is like the true down below. Maybe when we were doing that Ouija board in his room, like the room below us got it worse, and that's where it actually got haunted because no one lived in that room until those two moved in, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we have a belief here that when a space is empty, like for example, a room or a whole house or a whole building is left empty with no people occupying, then that's gonna invite, or that place is very attractive to those kinds of things, ghosts some, and even those that are not ghosts, they're gonna be attracted to live and stay in that place. So maybe that's why it stayed there, because that room was empty.
when they moved into that room, I guess whatever it was pissed them off, pissed whatever was there off, right? It's like, oh, that's not your room anymore. That's whatever we let inside the house's room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they moved out sometime after that because they didn't. They were so stressed out. I don't know what those guys.
Good for them, actually. I think, if I remember correctly, there are like three stages to like um demonic stuff. Like the first stage is the those kinds of disturbance, the loud knocking. The second stage is like you get bruises on your body for no reason. And the third stage is that you get possessed by the demon. So if they moved out after like the first stage, that was the first stage, the loud knockings, and they move out. Well, good for them. Good for them. And uh it would be better if whatever that was, well, I'm pretty sure it was a demon. I really hope that it stayed there and did not follow them. So good for them for moving out, because if they stayed, then I don't want to think about the progress of the really horrible thing.
are up to. Maybe they moved on from it. I don't. I feel bad though. You gave them a free welcoming gift. But I'm just like, damn. I feel with that kind of thing. Why didn't I get more punished? For fucking
You're
around with a
lucky.
tool like that, right? If it is real,
You're
or
lucky.
maybe it was always haunted,
Sometimes
and I just kind of gave
people
it
like
like
you
a little
exist.
catalyst to say hi to the people living in the room below. I don't know. I thought about that. I'm like, my friends thought it was creepy, and like they were saying, oh, maybe you're
It was
more
more than creepy.
what superstitious than you think. I don't know, but it was just a cool. That was like one of the creepiest things I've ever heard, right? And there's another one I told you guys about that I've heard. Okay, we're not gonna get into that one. That one's just like really spooky. I was at my friend's house during AX, right? We were like getting ready to go get dim sum, and then I heard them whisper. I heard someone whisper her name twice into my ear, but nobody was there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like I'm tweaking that day. It was weird. It was the bow situation. Yeah, I remember that. Like someone whispered her name in my ear. And I thought it was her fucking with me, but it wasn't, and nobody else was over there, coming from the other room. So I don't know.
Something else was there. Something else was with you, and you couldn't see it.
But yeah, that's like two of the more recent things. That's all. I still don't believe it that much, right? Because you never know. Maybe they were lying about that story, but why would they lie about that, right? Because the Ouija board didn't do anything, right? And my family is superstitious, but I've only heard stories like the whole thing with my grandpa dying and the phone ringing and the whole you don't know you're dead until 3 days after you actually die, right? And then that's when you move on the third day, right? Stuff like that. It's like, okay, it's just stories, right? So I don't know. It's never really made me feel like I guess I've never seen it, you know?
It's actually fine if you don't believe it. Actually, I personally think that life is much more better and peaceful and happier if like you don't think about some other things existing other than you. It's okay if you don't believe them. The most important thing is you don't test their existence because terrible things might happen.
I've never experienced anything weird myself personally,
Well,
like
good
that
for you
crazy.
actually.
So I guess that's why I'm so skeptical still.
People who never experience anything relating to that, side of life or the world, I personally think that they're lucky because it's never a good thing to experience them.
So that's why I want to do another Ouija board.
Ah, no!
Because
No! Oh my god. Shoto, you and your friend, whatever you and your friend had disturbed that day, you were lucky that it didn't follow you because it could have. It could have, but it decided not to. It decided to stay there. So you were lucky the first time. Don't test it again. Nothing good will come out of it. And like I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Oh my god.
listen, I feel like, but not in my apartment. I feel like I wouldn't want to do it there. If I ever got like a house, maybe I would want to
It
do it
wouldn't
there
really
because
matter.
I wouldn't want to
It wouldn't matter
potentially
where you do
mess
it.
up whatever energy it is in the apartment I live in. Because like imagine I do it now and then the floor below me, right? Suddenly something terrible happens to them. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want that to happen, right?
Nah, it wouldn't really matter. Let's say you pick like uh a safe place wherever that is uh, that you decide is safe. Whatever you could summon, it could very well follow you. So if you say like I'm not gonna do it in my place because I don't want to fill my place with it doesn't matter, it can follow you. And like I said, you're lucky that the first time whatever you summoned stayed there Please don't do it again. Please, please. I want you to be safe. I want you to keep making content so I can keep simping on you. I wouldn't want you going through terrible stuff like that. Oh my god.
So not anytime while I'm living in the apartments that I'm living in. Maybe in another area, right? Just get a spirit box. I don't believe in that either. I do not believe in a spirit box. I don't really buy the whole Ouija board thing either because I think there's a psychology behind it. But you know, all weird things happen, and I just want to know a little bit more. Like the whole, you know what else I don't believe in? I don't believe in like people that do ghost adventure, ghost hunters, anything like that. It's all for good TV, right? Sam and
Understandable.
Colby, I don't really buy that. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I'm just gonna say this: the horror things you see on TV. Those are shows. Those are fake. I believe those are fakes. But the real ones, you don't see them on TV. And if you need like a validation of their existence, if you want to hear someone say whether they're real or not, then let this random stranger on the internet tell you that yes, they are. I have a little story for you guys. Personal experience about such things. When I was in high school, I was always on rice duty. It was cooking rice was always on me. And here's the thing. When my mom and dad got married before and then they built the house, it started off as a small hut. So like there was no architectural plan with building our house. It started off as as a small hut, and whenever dad earns money, they add a little something, and then our house got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I was in high school, uh, our kitchen was right outside. It was separated from the main house, and like I said, it was always on me to cook the rice, and I always hated cooking rice for dinner because, like I said, our kitchen was outside, separated from the main house, and then right, I got it right across it, right, right across our kitchen, there was an abandoned house with overgrown grass, and the rest were just trees and darkness. And so I always hated cooking rice because it's very dark and I have to be alone there. No one was willing to come with me. And so I had to stay there to watch the fire because we use firewood. I have to like keep it on a certain like how do I say the English is so hard. Anyways, you get it. You get it. Okay. I had to watch the fire because we use firewood or else I risk burning the rice or not cooking the rice at all. So I had to stay there. And so there was one time that uh same situation. I was cooking the rice in the dark and so I was scared and so the way I cope with the fear was I make noise myself. So at that time I was singing a Lady Gaga song, and I don't even remember what song it was anymore, but it was a Lady Gaga song, and I kid you not, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I sang so loud for the whole neighborhood to hear because I was fucking scared. Like, I was thinking the louder the noise, the more my fear is like masked or like overshadowed or even disappear. So I was singing, and then in the middle of my performance, I got slapped. I kid you not, I got slapped in the face. But I was alone. I was alone. And then something slapped me. I was frozen in place. I got brain freeze. I was just there and I couldn't move. I, I lost the ability to think. I was just there because I was shocked because I got slapped. Not not hear or not. It might have been better if I just heard something because I can just pass it off as, yeah, maybe I was just overthinking and scaring myself. Or if I think I saw something, I could have just passed it off as well. Maybe I'm hallucinating or scaring myself. It wasn't because it was physical. I got slapped in my cheek, and I was like, ah! I ran the fuck out. Oh, no, not out, in. I ran in inside the house, and I went to my dad, and I was crying and complaining. And I'm like, I don't care about the rice anymore. I'm so scared. I was just singing, and whatever it was, I pissed it off because maybe it didn't like my voice, and I got slapped. And my dad was like, okay, now go check. Now go check the rice. I'm like, okay. So I went back to check the rice, and like, thank God the rice is cooked. And then I ran back in, and you know, I'm like, well, you go get the rice. It's already cooked, but it's not my problem anymore. I wouldn't want to go back there anymore. But yeah, I got slapped by something that I couldn't see. Imagine you guys, you're cooking in the kitchen and you're alone, and you get slapped, but you're alone. How does that even work? Make it make sense. But you know what's interesting about that was that it wasn't a hand. When something slapped me, it didn't feel like a hand. It felt more like, when you had long hair and you grab your hair and then whip it on someone's face. That's how it felt like. It felt like hair. It wasn't painful. It was soft. So maybe whatever that was, like, it wasn't really mad at me. Maybe it just really want me to shut up because it didn't like my voice, but it didn't want to harm me either. It just really wanted me to shut up, so it whipped me with soft hair or something that felt like hair, whatever it was. But yeah, if you know what, Shoto, you're a big name, and I guess you're busy, so I wouldn't really expect you to see this. But in the off chance that you do, and you need confirmation if they do exist, well, I'm just a stranger on the internet, but I'll just tell you based on experience. Yes, they do exist. Those other things that you can't see, they do exist. They're real, okay, and it's fine if, like, you don't believe them, because like I said, I personally think not having to worry about them makes life better and peaceful and happier. But don't test it. Don't test their existence. Because at least I believe that whatever it was to slap me, it wasn't a ghost, but it's not demonic either. It was something else. But what you and your friend disturbed that day on your friend's apartment, that was clearly demonic. If, like, there was banging and stuff, that was demonic, and you got lucky that it did not follow you. You and your friend got lucky that it stayed there and didn't follow either of you. So don't do it again, because, yeah, no one would really know what would happen. It would be bad, and I'd hate for you to experience anything that's horrible as that.
It's kind of performative for good videos and TV, right? It's fun, I get it, but when it comes to real spooky stuff and like ghost stuff, I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
real
very hard to
real
convince me,
spooky
you know,
stuff.
because there's a lot of
You
TV
don't see
magic you
them
can
on
do and
TV.
editing and stuff
They're not on
to
TV.
manipulate the the results. So I think it's just like it's fun. You know, those kinds of things are fun. But
Yeah,
when it
TV
comes to
shows are
the
fun.
real stories, it's like what is real and what is like people just being paranoid and like thinking they see something, right? I always think about that, right? But I think the story that I just told you guys with the Ouija board and what happened to those two people in the room below, I think that's the first time in my entire life where I've genuinely felt like, okay, that is weird. That is creepy. How, why were they crying? Why were they so like upset? Why did they hear banging on their door when no one else heard banging on their door? And apparently it was so loud that they're surprised that no one else in the apartment could hear it. It's like, huh? And it's two
Be-
people.
it was just them because it was only them that was the target of the haunting. The others weren't able to hear the banging because they weren't included in the hit list. They were there in that very room where it lived. Oh yeah.
People. If it was just one person that experienced it, I would be a lot more skeptical. But the fact that it's like two people in the same room experiencing the same thing, it's like, okay, now something's wrong there. And that makes me a little more freaked out about it. And that's why I think maybe it could be a prank, but maybe it's not a prank. I don't know. But again, maybe the more I talk about this type of stuff, the more I'll invite this type of thing into my life, right? As my family believes. So eventually I'll see something spooky, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you
Maybe I
you
should.
you listen to your mom. Mother's knows best. So you know when was where was it? He said when someone whispered someone's name in his ears. Was he in his room? I forgot about that bit, but I don't want to rewind. Maybe he was in his room or where was it? But anyway, if it was in his room, then something else was there with him, or it could very well be still there, and it's just not disturbing him, which is good. But
Just do that. You know what? Fuck it. I just gotta like because I play enough horror games. Maybe it's time like I just watch nothing but spooky content and like talk about scary stories all the time, right? For like a solid week and see what happens. Sometimes manifestation is real, right? In a way, bro, over here manifesting all that fucked up shit.
okay, I think that's it. That's the end of this video. Anyways, I was actually trying to save. I got several experiences, spooky experiences, and I was trying to save those stories for like Halloween or something because it's more time appropriate. But then there's this clip, and I just had to share a few. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story. And well, no, it's not just for content. It's real. It happened. And so what I can say is that, like I said that it's a number of times already. It's fine if you don't believe that they exist, but don't test that they exist. Shoto here is lucky the first time. Hopefully he doesn't do it again. Hopefully. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.